Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Dick Taurus, and I have for you today a short little video. It's a guide to the Federation Navy Comet. Recently I've been seeing a lot of questions in militia chat on what ship should I fly, how do I fit it, how do I fly the ship that you've recommended that I have to fly, and hands down I think the best kind of beginner level ship for someone in faction warfare is the Federation Navy Comet. It's a very, very strong ship. It has a couple different ways that you can fit it, and it does have counters, which to me signifies that it's a very balanced ship. The two ways that I always fly it is a Scram kiting setup, which is this first fight right here. Just dunk to catalyst. By the way, don't do what I did. I overcompensated twice in that fight, which is very punishing in frigates. Flying out of Scram and web range, he could have just warped off, and then I dove back in by hitting approach instead of manually flying, and I got right back into his blaster range, which is definitely not recommended. Anyway, long story short, you have a Scram kite fit, which means that you have an afterburner, a warp scrambler, which shuts off MWDs, and a web. And those three modules are all range dictation modules. What that means is that you can sit at your 7 kilometers, which is what your optimal is for your railguns, and you can control the engagement in the sense that the ship that you're fighting will be slower and you can maintain that range that you want. It does have a weakness, obviously, because it's an afterburner fit ship. It is slow, and the only way you're going to catch kiters, just like that Imperial Navy Slicer that I just killed, is by setting up engagements in your favor. What I mean by that is, sitting at 0 on a beacon, he has to warp into the beacon, overheat your Scram and web and afterburner to get on top of him, and shut off his micro warp drive before he pulls out of range of your Scram and web. And then this last fight is the age-old debate, blasters versus railguns. We're both fit the exact same way, in the sense that we have the same mid slots. We both have an afterburner, we both have Scrams, and we both have a web, which means that I can pick what range I want to stay at, and as long as we time up our overheating cycles of our afterburners, there's no way for him to close the gap. What that means is, because my guns do more DPS at a longer range, it's just a matter of time before I wear his tank down, and then I can, go back in and close the gap and finish it up. But for Scram kiting, absolutely, railguns are better, just because it allows you to stay out of the high DPS weapons. For a blaster fit Comet, you have to be up on top of someone, and if someone else has a Scram and a web, you're instantly countered. Another popular ship that uses something along those lines is the Republic Fleet Firetail. I've been seeing a lot of dual web Republic Fleet Firetails, and they're very scary because they can put you at 9 kilometers, and there's no way for you to catch up to them because you're dual webbed. You're going a quarter of your natural speed. So if you were going 1300, with the afterburners, on, you're going to be going like 200, and he's going to have his afterburner on as well, and so he's going to, no matter what, you're never going to catch up to him, which is a really long way to say that don't fight Republic Fleet Firetails with blasters, because you'll never catch them. You could even load null, and you still just won't. I've fought them enough to know. And then this last fight illustrates the dual prop fit. It's generally speaking not this kind of engagement that would illustrate the benefits of having dual prop. The entire reason why I fly dual prop is to catch kiters, to race down Imperial Navy Slicers, Tristans, any kind of ship that's going to try to use 20 kilometers of distance to mitigate all of your damage. You can overheat your MWD, you're going to be going 5 kilometers a second, you can close that gap super fast, hopefully before they react to it. Get your Scram on them, and once you got your Scram on them, you can turn your MWD off, you can turn your afterburner on, and then you can orbit. Most long-range guns have really bad tracking, and you'll have blasters fit on a dual prop set, a dual prop fit, mostly because of the fitting issues. Having 2 propulsion modules is a lot of fitting space, and it's just a lot easier to fit blasters than it is to fit railguns, and if you're going to be orbiting in really nice and tight, you're going to need the tracking that the blasters offer. Anyway, And another nice thing about dual prop is the fact that you can disengage as well as re-engage. So if the fight's not going great for you, you can pull range and kind of assess the situation, give you a couple seconds to react and make a judgment, and then turn your MWD back on and re-engage if you think you can win. Alright, last but not least, here are the fits. The Scram kite variant with the railguns. You can also kind of eke around some modules and try to fit a NOS instead of the Newt. In my experience, it hasn't really been that much of a big deal. And then the dual prop with blaster fit, which specializes in closing the gap and doing close range DPS. Both of these fits cost less than 20 million ISK out the door in JITA, and you can also pimp them a little bit with Tech 2 rigs. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let me know, and we'll see you out there.